the work that actually matters isn't the 30-day challenge. It's in what happens afterwards. It's in what you repeat when no one's watching you. It's who you are becoming underneath of that process. What's going on, you guys? Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Macro Hour with Nikkiey, co-founder of WarriorBabe. And on this podcast, we talk about mindset, methodologies, and tactics that will help you lose body fat, build muscle, be strong, and feel insanely confident. I'm your host, Nikkiey, and welcome to episode number 278. And today, guys, I want to talk about what I spoke on to a group of individuals about a week and a half ago in Washington, D.C. I was called by a friend to speak in a female-led industry on cybersecurity as being the health and fitness segment, because we all know that in that world, everybody can focus on decoding bug for 10 hours straight, but people treat a 10-minute walk like it's a luxury. And so I want to talk about what I just talked to them about creating habits. And y'all know I'm big on the habit mindset. I talked about atomic habits to those groups of people. And that's what I want to bring into today's episode. I think it's just it's getting straight to the root of why many people feel stuck. I think that many people feel stuck for a multitude of different variables, despite trying like everything under the sun. But I think what the root cause is like getting the habits to align with where you want to go. You guys know I talk about like, it's not about who you are right now. It's about the person that you are becoming. Because what I said to them, like, let's just get into it. What I said to them was like, most people don't have like a weight loss or fat loss problem. Majority of people have a keep it off problem. And I feel like the reason that people feel like they're stuck in like that loop isn't because that they're broken. It's because maybe they've never built these habits to make the result that they're seeking over and over and over again. They don't have the habits to make that result sustainable. Because like, let's be real. And I'm sure you guys have been here. I know that the thousands of women that we've coached inside of WarriorBabe have been here. You've heard it on the WarriorBabe success interviews that have been dropping in this podcast over, the last couple of months that we've been sharing those with y'all. But you guys, people can drop 10 to 15 pounds pretty quickly if you restrict hard enough. And you've probably done that, right? Anybody can go on some 30-day challenge. Anybody can cut carbs out. Anybody can go grab some TikTok detox tea. And people can skip meals and be good. And sure, like, it works for a minute, but then life happens, stress comes back, a vacation happens, a hard week at work happens, a breakup happens, and boom, what turned into a 30-day challenge where maybe you're getting the results that you wanted resorts back to ground zero, resorts back to where you were before you started the 30-day challenge. You're off track again. Everything you lost comes right back. And sometimes even more. And it's not because you're weak. It's not because you're broken. It's not because, something's wrong with you. It's because you were chasing a result without building the habits to actually keep the result. What I realized is that's a really important thing to talk on. You guys know that I'm really big on talking about that. We really hammer it home inside of the WarriorBabe program, but nobody really teaches on that part. The work that actually matters isn't the 30-day challenge. It's in what happens afterwards. It's in what you repeat when no one's watching you. It's who you are becoming underneath of that process. It's not about going in and finding the next quick fix. It's not about jumping into, everyone's so attached to the end result that they don't realize what's happening in those 30 days for yourself, right? Like the hard truth is like, if your habits don't change, your results won't last, period, End story. Like, end the podcast there, right? Like, it's not about the motivation, because you guys know that I've said over and over and over again, motivation is fleeting. Motivation ebbs and flows. Motivation is a feeling. You're not always going to feel motivated about doing something. You're going to feel motivated at something when you start something out of the gate, but then I guarantee you by week 3, week 4, that motivation's not going to be there. And what's going to be there and what needs to be worked on is about your structure. It's about your discipline. It's about your ownership. It's about being honest with yourself about whether your daily actions actually match the goals that you keep talking about. Like, I've seen this with thousands of women. The ones who succeed are not perfect by any means, but you know what they are? They're very consistent. They've built systems that make the follow through automatic. And I think what I've seen in a lot of these women, especially the women that have been in these success stories y'all have been listening to, is they've upgraded their identity. Because habits aren't just about what you do, they are who you become, literally. So what I talked about, I gave this group 5 specific habits that will build a bulletproof you, was my day 2 topic. And I want to share those with you guys because of the years of, 10 years being in this space, 8 years coaching women, the last 7-8 years building a team behind the scenes, 70 amazing coaches on our squad, guys, that, dude, they coach way better than me. So if you guys love what you're hearing in these episodes, just think about that on steroids inside of not actually saying you need to be on steroids, but just think about that inside of WarriorBabe. Like, you're getting a coach that is just absolutely incredible. So anyway, speaking to the habits that I share with them, I'm going to go through the 5 of them with you. And the first one is what I just tapped into, which was the identity. Like, you don't need another checklist of things to be following. You don't need to wake up and be like, I need to have my water. I need to prep my meal. Like, I need to work out today. Like, it's not while those are important, you need a new standard for how you live. And it starts with your identity. Like, every time that you log your food, even if it's messy, because out of the gate, it's going to be messy. I told these guys, track your food for 7 days and don't try to be perfect. Just do what you normally do. And it's going to help you just have very keen data on how you're actually eating. So it's going to be messy. But every time you log that food, every time you go to the gym when you don't want to, every time that you make a choice that aligns with your goal instead of your excuses, you are reinforcing the identity of someone who follows through. You are reinforcing the identity of someone who is healthy. You are reinforcing the identity of someone who is fit. Like, the old you would say, oh, I'll try to get my workout in today. Oh, I'll try to log my food. I'll try to meal prep. That is the old you. But do you see how that old you, that I'll try, guess what follows after that? The way that you say that, I'll try to make it happen, basically what you're telling yourself is, oh, this isn't a priority for me. This isn't as serious. I don't need to make this something that needs to happen for me later. Or like what I was telling the guys, the people at the conference is, I'm too busy to work out. Well, guess what that action's going to follow? You're not going to go work out. But the new you, a new identity that you have to be reinforcing every single day, and that comes with discipline, that comes with structure, is like, oh, I execute. I am someone who works out. I am someone who plans my workout and follows through and gets it done, even if I don't feel like it. Because guess what? On every single day, you're not going to feel like it. Or I am somebody who eats healthy. I am someone who drinks my water. I am someone who gets 8 hours of sleep. Like, a couple of people immediately when I got off stage were forming a line, and they loved the conversation about habits. And this one woman that I talked to was like, I have a really hard time creating habits. How can I create habits? And I'm like, that right there, by you saying that you have a really hard time creating habits, is the identity of which you are living in right now. And so, of course, it's going to be really hard for you to create new habits. And so I said, you don't need to go work out. You don't need to track your food right now. You don't need to try and eat healthy. You don't even need to focus on eating or drinking your water. What you need to focus on is waking up tomorrow morning and reinforcing that you are an individual who creates habits. Literally, that mindset, that narrative needs to be rewired and reprogrammed and reinforced. And I was like, just do that you're going to have to do it for months on end, but just do it for the next 7 days. You're going to wake up tomorrow morning and be like, I am someone who can create healthy habits that will help me to live a fit lifestyle. And I'm like, I just want you to say that for the next 7 days, every time you wake up. And then that gets embedded in you. Hey, while you're listening, if you're getting value from this episode, take a moment to tap that review button or share this podcast with a friend. It's a small gesture that goes a long way in helping more women find their way to feeling stronger and more confident in their skin. I appreciate you so much for taking the time to support this show. Because if you're somebody who on a day-to-day basis, feeling like that you're falling off every time life gets stressful, you're constantly starting over, you're feeling like you're not that kind of person who stays consistent, you need to create these kind of statements that are going to anchor to who you want to become, not who you are right now. Because I told them, I was like, if you guys are, you're feeling a type of way because you're sitting behind a computer all day and it's really hard to put a focus on your health and your fitness and getting into working out and eating better. Well, guess what? It's not about who you are right now. It's about who you are becoming. And what needs to change in that is not only the actions you take on a daily basis, but also the narrative that you say to yourself. So it's like, I am someone who tracks my meals. That's just, and I still don't say it. And I'm like, guys, this is just my lifestyle now. But granted, 10 years ago, I had to do this. I had to reinforce this mentality and these actions on a daily basis to prove that I am this type of person. I am someone who finishes what I start. Every single time, like what James Clear says in Atomic Habits, which I highly recommend that book if you haven't read it yet. Download it on audio, or if you like the hard copy because you like to have the physical reading aspect, just go get it, like right now. In that book, he says that every time I'm gonna butcher it, but it's like when you start doing these habits and you start doing them on a daily basis, it's a vote for the future. It's a vote for the person that you are becoming. And it's so true. Okay. So that's the first habit that I talked about and just dove in with them on. The second thing is, obviously, you guys know, a habit that needs to be implemented. If you want to change your body, if you want to change your energy, if you want to change your metabolism, you have to lift. You have to do strength training, period. Strength training isn't just about getting toned, quote unquote, which toned is building muscle and decreasing body fat around it so it's more exposed on your physical body and you see more lean muscle mass. That's what toned is. The only way you get that is by strength training. It's about building the engine that drives your results. So if you're doing tons of cardio, but you're still feeling soft, or if you're doing tons of cardio and you're losing weight, but you look like a skinnier, fatter version of yourself, if you're still feeling exhausted, but you're not seeing any change, if you have a fear of lifting because you don't want to get too bulky, my friends, you need to switch the type of output that you're doing in the gym. You don't need to get rid of doing cardio, but you don't need to do as much. And you need to incorporate strength training if you're not already incorporating strength training. If you're somebody that, because I asked the room to raise their hands, who does strength training, who does cardio, but who prioritizes cardio over the amount that they do strength training? And a lot of people raise their hands. So it's focus on 3 full body sessions a week. Focus on doing progressive overload. If you guys don't know progressive overload, go to themacrohour.com, type in the find button. If you're on your computer, I don't know how to do it on a cell phone, and just type in progressive overload. I have multiple episodes on what progressive overload is. Track this. Track your strength like you track your nutrition. Are you getting stronger on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis? Muscle equals your protection to your bones, to your hormone balance, to your long-term fat burn. It's literally like what I told them is muscle is your metabolic currency. It is your body's armor. So make sure you're incorporating it. The third thing I talked about, and I can't stress this one enough, is if you've been eating low calorie year for years and you're still not seeing the results you want, first of all, your metabolism isn't broken. It's just down regulated. Your body is so smart, you guys. And if it's been living in survival mode, it's going to continue to hold on to fat. Your body is basically like, if you've been only eating 1,000 calories or 1,100 calories, I asked how many people in the room knew how many calories they eat, and someone yelled out, no one. And that's fair. That's valid. But just think, like, you're probably only consuming 1,000 calories, 1,100 calories on a daily basis. That is what a toddler needs to consume on a regular basis. And so if your body's smart, it's like, dude, I'm living in survival mode. I don't know when this person's going to give me more food. So it just starts holding on to it. And before you even think about doing a cut, which a lot of people come into a program, they're like, I want to lose weight, which is a quote unquote a calorie deficit, going into a cut. Dude, what we need to do is make your body feel safe again. So we need to retrain it. And this is something we specifically talk about inside of WarriorBabe, is the retrain process. WarriorBabes know what I'm talking about. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, what we do is we find out your maintenance number, we find out what you're eating now, and we try to close the gap over a weekly, monthly basis to get you closer to that maintenance number, to make your metabolism feel like it's safe and to feel like it recognizes, you recognize hunger cues, which is your metabolism waking up. It's just basically rebuilding what's been broken. I shouldn't say broken. Rebuilding what has not had the attention that it needs to feel strong. And so if you're somebody who has low energy, if you're somebody who has poor sleep, if you're somebody who has constant cravings, if you're someone who's quote unquote eating healthy, but you're seeing zero change, or you've plateaued your progress no matter how much cardio tracking you're doing, then this is something that you need. You need to slowly increase your calories to maintenance. You need a WarriorBabe coach to help you do it so you don't butcher the process, overthink the process, or think you're doing something wrong, because you will. You'll question every step of the way if you do it by yourself. Or maybe you're somebody who's been in the game for a long time. You know what I'm talking about. And so you can just start doing this if you feel those type of ways I just said. You need to prioritize your protein. You need to prioritize it consistently. You need to replace cardio with strength training, and you need to focus on your biofeedback. You need to focus on your sleep, on your mood, on your digestion, on your energy. You can't force a depleted system to burn fat. You have to rebuild trust with your body first. And so that was the third habit that I talked about. The fourth one, you guys have heard me talk over and over and over and over again. It's my favorite thing to talk on, is how motivation is fleeting. It is a feeling. Discipline is an action. If you are relying solely being in the mood to follow through, my friend, you are so screwed. If you are relying on, hey, I'm going to work out if I feel like it later, you're screwed. You need to focus on building your discipline muscle, which means when those feelings come up, you act despite how you feel and you show up no matter what. That is what I can attribute 99.9 of my success to, is that I have really good discipline. Okay, so if you are somebody who joins a program and you're hella motivated out of the get, and then by week 3 or 4, you start ghosting your goals, if you're beating yourself for falling off, if you're waiting to feel ready, you need to predecide your actions before your emotion gets involved. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to work out in the morning if I feel like it, you need to decide the night before, I am going to wake up in the morning and work out. Done. Then when you get to the morning and you're like, oh, I don't feel like doing it, your discipline's going to tap in. You're going to feel it. It's going to talk to you and be like, dude, I made this promise to myself last night that I was going to get it done. And that's where you need to follow through. When that voice in your head is, you made this promise to yourself, that's your higher you talking to yourself. That's your discipline talking to yourself. Don't let the feeling of, I don't feel like working out right now, win. Set these non-negotiables for yourself and show up regardless. Discipline isn't a punishment. Like, I don't want you to think of it like that. It is literally self-respect. And it's literally the bridge between your goals and your reality. So focus on being disciplined over being motivated. And then the last thing I threw at them was this non-negotiable stack, which is like 5 habits that are simple, but they work. They're the backbone of every single transformation that I've ever coached to, that our coaches have ever coached to. And I call it the stack. I would say waking up with a morning win. What can you start your day off with you being in control? Is it a walk? Is it getting 10K steps? Is it going to the gym and working out? Is it meditating? Is it drinking your water? Is it journaling? What is it that you can have a morning win out of the gate in the morning? It puts you just in the dopamine effect of, I started my day off with this win and I'm in control for the rest of the day. The second thing is protein at every meal. 25 to 35 grams of protein at every single meal. Then the third thing is lifting at least 3-4 times a week. The fourth thing is tracking something, whether it's your food, whether it's your non-scale victories, whether it's your sleep, whether it's you following through on your check-ins on a weekly basis with your coach, whether it's your weight inside of the gym. Track something. And then the last thing is, these are all non-negotiables. Morning win, protein every meal, lift 3 to 4 times a week, track something, and get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And then an added bonus to the stack is not having your phone in front of your face before you go to bed. No screens before you go to bed. It's going to allow for more efficient sleep. So if you are somebody who is feeling overwhelmed, if you're trying to do everything at once, if you're somebody who constantly keeps starting over on Monday, then lock in one of these things in the stack, just one. Start with one, lock it in, and then continue to stack these over time. Again, like, you don't need a new plan. While I even just gave you a checklist, like, while that's important, but it's more so the habits that you need to repeat over and over and over and over again until those habits become who you are. Okay, so a little twist to today's episode is I want to leave you with a challenge. This week, I want you to pick one habit. Lock it in for 7 days. No skipping, no excuses. Whether it's hitting your protein, whether it's getting to the gym 3 times, whether it's tracking your meals, whether it's going to bed on time, just start and then follow through. And this is where you're going to prove to yourself that you can do this. And then I would say do that for 7 days, 14 days, and stack another one in. Because it isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things with more consistency. And over time, even though this may all sound boring, when you do things consistently over time, everything's going to start to change. Your body's going to change. Your mindset's going to sharpen. Your identity, that's going to level up. Okay? So do this for yourself at the end of the day, because that's the most important aspect to everything. To the way you show up to your relationships, the way you show up to your job, the way you show up for your family, for your kids, for your friends. It all starts with you. So you have to secure that first before you can even worry about anything else. Okay? So I want to know, tag me, tag the Macro Hour. What is the one habit that you guys coming out of this episode today are going to focus on for the next week? It's great. We're on a Monday. So if you're somebody who starts on Mondays, here we go. This is your challenge. But just tag Macro Hour, tag Nikkiey Stat. What is one habit that you're going to commit to? And I want to see you hold that promise to yourself. So on a daily basis, continue to tag us, me, the Macro Hour. And I want to just cheer you guys on. Okay? So I hope you guys found this episode helpful. Go do it. Go lock it in. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next episode. Real quick, if this episode resonated with you or gave you the push that you needed, I'd love for you to pay it forward. Drop a quick rating and review, share the podcast with someone who might need it, and help me keep spreading the word. Your feedback not only helps the show grow, but it might just be the nudge someone else needs to kickstart their transformation. Thank you so much for your support.